Hey, y'all, welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank, and I'm joined by Jonathan.
Well, hello.
And today we're talking about Movie Pass, Disneyland, Justin Roiland, and so much more. Jonathan, let's start things off real quick with this Netflix thing. They claim that they've never canceled a successful show, which sounds crazy to me because there's so many times
Yeah.
there's hashtag renew my show or something like that. Do you think they cancel things often? And do you have some ideas or different shows that they canceled too soon?
So, I mean, they can shape it however they want. It's based on their metrics of success, but there's a lot of shows that I've really liked that they've canceled. Uh, I could see now people probably argue like, well, if it had 4 or 5 seasons, that means it was successful.
Mhm.
It could have had that if they kept it going though. So, I mean, even if it stopped at the first season, as long as there was a stable fan base, they should have kept them going. But I have a few. I have lots of examples, but I have a few that I'll mention on the podcast at least. One of my favorite shows I see it on Netflix was called Altered Carbon. You remember that? I was
That
telling you
is a
about it a long
good
time ago.
show. Yeah, they changed it a lot from season to season, though. It was a
Yeah,
dramatic. I like the first season more than the second.
yeah. I haven't looked. I'm getting more into comic books now. I haven't looked to see if
Mhm.
there's a comic series. I wonder if it's based off of something.
I know
But
there's
it's
an
such a cool
anime
world
that
and
they made
story.
after the Netflix show.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's a cool world. I'd want to get more of it, but they canceled it after 2 seasons.
Mhm.
Uh, Another really good show that was just a what do you call it? Not a rom com, but a sitcom that I really liked was called The Crew. Did you ever see that with Kevin James? He's a
Actually, Netflix keeps
NASCAR
suggesting it to me, and I'm
coach.
like, "What is this? What the hell is Kevin James
But
doing?"
there's only 1 season. It was from 2021. I'm hoping they rebooted at some
I'm
point or
sure. I'm
something.
sure they haven't done a second season, maybe because I don't think that was a
Yeah.
very expensive show. From the commercial I saw, it's like mostly in the garage in his office, right?
Yeah, yeah, and
That's
then
so
some,
cheap to make. Then
they go out to the tracks and stuff, but it was yeah, but it's fun. It was just, Kevin James, it felt like King of Queens, but, 10 years later and he got a new
Yeah.
job or something.
10 years
Yeah,
later.
a lot of good characters in it. Um, Another one, at least one more, yeah, Resident Evil. I know a lot of people didn't like it. There was a lot of that, kinda teen angst stuff going on in it.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think it
yeah.
would not take much to kinda tweak it to get that out of it, but the rest of the show was really good. So I think if they leaned away from the tweens and into the more mature content of it, it was a really interesting perspective on the whole zombie story.
Yeah, at this point, they don't need the teen stuff anymore at all, right? Because they're
Yeah.
beyond that story now. You know what I just started watching this week off of your suggestion from 3 years ago? Black Summer.
Black Summer.
Yeah, it's the
That
zombie show where, like, it follows different people during a zombie apocalypse.
that wasn't me.
No, that was totally you, dude.
Was
'Cause
it?
yeah.
I don't even remember it now then. I have to rewatch it.
Yeah, it starts with, like, Chloe, and then we see, like, Chloe fighting off a zombie, and then it starts with, like, Daryl, and then eventually they all meet up at the end of the episode, but then there's multiple episodes, there's 2 seasons of it, and I was like, "I know John's been suggesting this to me a long time ago during" it was, like, when the pandemic first started, you started watching it.
Mm, I probably forgot it already,
Yeah.
but I'll
After
watch it
that
again.
Kim's
I don't know.
Convenience, I was like, "I need to listen to Jonathan more."
Right? Inconvenience. I haven't forgotten that one. That's such a
3
fun
weeks in a
show.
row, we mentioned Kim's Convenience, I wanna throw that out there now.
Right? If you
It's
guys
really
haven't
good.
watched it, go watch it.
My goal, Paul Sung Hung Lee, you are very welcomed on this podcast. My goal is to have you on here to talk
Mm,
about your upcoming role, Uncle Iroh. Jonathan, you're not on Twitter. Why are you not on Twitter, dude? You're missing out on
I
some
don't
cool stuff.
I don't know how to use the social network stuff.
Oh God.
I'm an old
So
person.
Kimchi and then Simuli, what's his name in the show? God, I can't remember his name. Chung and and Paul Sung Hung Lee hang out still, and they took a picture all together. And it's
Yeah.
just so cool. And Paul definitely has an Uncle Iroh beard right now
Oh,
because he's filming
man.
his scenes.
I'm working on it. I'm growing mine out. I think next, at least for Halloween, but next big convention we can go to with cosplayers and whatnot, I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to cosplay on Pyro.
Oh,
We'll
it's gonna
see.
be
There's so
so
much
cool.
pressure though. I can't. I don't think I could represent his aura, but I'll try.
It's specific. We could probably do one, especially if like Baldwin will be there, the guy that voices him. He's
Yeah.
super cool too. So if you come up with an Uncle Iroh, and he would love to talk to you.
All right.
We got
Nice to
plans,
meet you.
boys. We got plans.
Yeah.
All right, real quick for the network, we have a new challenge accept that just came out. It is all about the movie Hook from the '90s. It was a lot of fun to record, a lot of fun facts in there. We have the brand new YouTube channel, Geek Freaks Radio, releasing the same day as this episode. Again, that's just another way to listen to the podcast. The video version of the podcast will remain on the main Geek Freaks channel. But this is going to be where you could create playlists and stuff like that based off of your episodes you want to listen to. And it's just another way to listen. It's not a big deal. All right, let's go ahead and get into the news. Succession season 4 is coming out March 26th. Finally, it's been a year since the last finale. Have you been watching this at all?
I have not. I was like, how do I admit that I haven't seen this yet? Uh, is it like Game of Thrones? I imagine Succession. It's all about
You
who's
know
controlling
what?
the houses,
Kind of. It's Game of
like
Thrones if it
without the
was between
dragons.
like Elon Musk and Bill Gates. Like
Oh, so it's modern
it's
time.
modern day. It's a family
Oh,
that
okay.
controls a real big news station. I won't give any equals. It's all fake names, but it's clearly it's that station. Um
Mhm.
and it's all about like the dad who's ready to retire and he's trying to pick one of his kids to take over. And all the kids
Uh,
are vying for it, but then they're like the dad's manipulating them. It's so good, Jonathan. Completely suggest you watch it.
sounds a little bit like Yellowstone, but maybe Yellowstone in the
You know
city.
what? It's Yellowstone in the city, yeah, with like bigger
Okay.
people and stuff like that. It's very, very good. It's on HBO. If you need my login, let me know. I think you already have it actually.
Yeah,
Uh,
I do.
speaking of awesome HBO stuff, The Last of Us season 2 has been ordered. So they're coming out with season
Yeah.
2, and they said it's based off the second game. So we know where season 1's gonna
Oh,
end, which
timeline.
is cool.
Yeah.
Have you been
Yeah, that
enjoying that so far?
oh, it's so good. I love it. I'm so excited because it's like when Walking Dead first came out back in the day, and we were like, "Oh my god, what is this like new world they're building and stuff like that?" But then Walking Dead got dragged out so long,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of got overplayed. But now it's like we got some fresh blood, so I like it. They're doing really good so far.
Those clickers, man, they look good.
Hmm. Yeah, it's
I
like
actually
it's you literally anxious watching it. Like, oh my god, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, your wife couldn't handle it. There's no
Oh
chance.
no, yeah, probably not in the trailers.
She's not happy with a hardcore Hallmark commercial, let alone. So, I mean
Yeah, like,
oh, man.
it's not even just, like, gory stuff, like, she can handle seeing blood,
It's the
but
thrills,
it's the
man.
suspense of,
Yeah.
like, someone's about to turn the corner with a knife or whatever, she just, like, freaks out, so too much.
Oh, man, I'm enjoying it too. Alright, so
Mhm.
343, the company that's been making the last few Halo games, says they're gonna continue development of all Halo games. Now, this comes after some rumors due to layoffs on all the video game industry, really, um, that they were gonna be shifting away from the player base, and they changed the game quite a bit with Halo Infinite, which is very good, in my opinion. But they said they're sticking around. Now, what do you think of so let's go over it's like Halo 4, 5, Infinite. What do you think of that batch of Halo games?
I probably played those ones a lot less than the first 3.
You
I
did,
think
yeah, but you're
I think
also
2
older,
and
so it's hard to compare.
yeah, I think 2 and 3 are the ones I played the most. But if it's just if they're still getting consumers, then keep going. I mean, I understand all of, the industry and like all like computer based businesses are laying off people right now. Uh, why? They're expecting a recession to come, and consumers are going to spend less on
Yeah.
recreational stuff and whatnot. So I get it. They're trying to brace themselves. It sucks for the employees that are losing their jobs right now. It's flooding the market with people trying to find new jobs.
Yeah.
But I think it. I don't think it's like the company's going under. I think they're just bracing themselves, like we're seeing with just about everybody. So
Across the board, yeah, that's the tech industry especially is doing that, is breaking themselves for recession,
yeah.
as numbers show that it should be. That being said, though, and I'm not a mathematician, I don't know no fancy words,
Mhm.
but, the economy, GDP oh god, please don't check things.
GDP,
That one, it
the
grew
gross
it
domestic product.
unexpectedly grew last section quarter. God, I'm really
Mhm.
sounding dumb right now. I
That's
know
funny.
WoW gold economy, guys. No.
Right.
But yeah, so it grew. So that might not we might not head into as hardcore of a recession as expected. That being said, yeah, it sucks for all these people that got laid off. Um, and yeah, hopefully they keep making the Halo games, of course. Halo Infinite was very good, but I definitely play it like after I beat it, I was like basically done until somebody wants to do co-op with me. In comparison
Mhm.
to like, yeah, Halo 2 and 3, man, you and me consumed like crazy over and over again. So there's
Yeah.
something there.
So, like you're saying, though, that could have been our age. We were
Mhm.
more we had time to just sit down and game more often, and there wasn't as much competition in the space for sure. There was
True.
not another, hardcore shooter games that had these big worlds that we could play at the same time, so, it was the best thing out at the time.
I've changed as a gamer too. I think since then, because I used to really like online multiplayer shooters. I now like big open world RPGs. So as a
Mhm.
player too, I've also changed. So that's something to take into consideration.
Maybe 343 should change with us.
Well, I mean, you're right. They did. Halo Infinite
Yeah.
is a big open world RPG.
Oh, yeah,
It's just
that's
a
right.
Halo
That's
game.
true.
The story is really cool. I really liked it. And so I'm basically telling you that. So when you're ready to play it, He wants me to play with you.
Yeah,
You just let me know. I'll co-op it up. You and me have co-opted every other Halo game, so we need to co-op this one as
yeah.
well.
I
Except
think I
for
have it. I
you,
have it
it's just
somewhere.
part of Game Pass. I'm sure you got it somewhere. But the co-op didn't release until like recently, or is about to release something like that. So we'll have to look that up. Titans and Doom Patrol are both canceled over on HBO and HBO Max. James Gunn quickly came out and said, "Hey, that's not me. That was already canceled before I even came here. They just haven't announced it yet." That's really unfortunate. Of course, I know there's a lot of big fans of those projects, but I think in general, just HBO's trying to like, all right, we need to clear out DC and try this again. Um, I mean, it's just a shame, right? But I think it's probably best
Yeah.
overall.
But we've heard that they're doing this anyways. Like we didn't hear about these titles specifically, but we kind of heard, yeah, they're hitting a soft reset on the whole DC brand and going a different route.
Yeah,
So I don't think it's surprising. These aren't like the big blockbuster movies that are coming out. There's some kind of lower budget TV shows. So
yeah, they got super
it's
fans, but it's not enough of them.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to knock down those super fans. We actually have a couple of them part of the network, but
Yeah,
yeah.
oh, I'm sure. So the Smallville crowd.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. All right, Star Wars Skeleton Crew finished filming, and they confirmed the series is actually going to release this year. Now, Jonathan, have you heard of Skeleton Crew yet?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what the storyline is or
They pitched it so well to me. So basically, what it is they're making it like a Steven Spielberg slash Amblin, which is his company, coming
Mhm.
of age story set in Star Wars universe.
Mm.
So think of like E.T. or maybe kind of like a Stand By Me. Remember those old classic 80s like coming of age stories in
Yeah.
Star Wars? Dude, I can't wait for that.
Mm. What kind of character are we supposed to be following?
Well, probably a batch of kids. We do have one adult, but we know for sure. But it's probably gonna be a batch of kids that are kind of trying to figure things out. I kind of just off that reminds me of Prodigy, Star Trek
Yeah, that's what I
Prodigy.
was thinking. That's what I was thinking too. Yeah, that sounds interesting though. I mean, I like it. I also think like Quinn, we see his backstory in Guardians of the Galaxy. If it's
Yeah,
gonna kind of mirror that kind of thing,
yeah. How cool would it be if
or
we actually saw Quinn like trying to figure out how to be a Ravager, though?
yeah, exactly.
That'd be kind of
Like
cool.
that kind of you're seeing a young person kind of figure things out on their own. But obviously, it's a crew, so we're gonna have a team of youngins. So that should be cool.
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll be good, but I'm hoping it's I don't know, this is kind of selfish, but I'm hoping it's aimed at our age group because I'm seeing a lot more
yeah.
stuff now that's aimed at younger teens and like, yeah, it'll age with them, but don't lose sight of us. Keep keep the focus on the millennials and we want more good shows that match our age range, but I know they got to have something for everybody and they're smart about aiming for a younger age group, I think.
Well, not to constantly advertise our other podcasts, but on Challenge Accepted, we actually talked about this quite a bit and how the quality of like young, like kid shows and family shows or projects is so different today than it was back then. And the example, of course, was Hook. If you look at Hook, they built these big sets, they casted amazing actors, very little CGI or anything like that. It was mostly practical effects, very expensive effects. And then today they just like, you don't know, they crap out whatever, do put some boots. It's like whatever. Um, and so the way that they're pitching this whole thing with Amblin, of course, the people that made Hook specifically,
Mhm.
as like, hey, guess what, guys, we're doing this Amblin style show. It's like, okay, are you gonna make a high quality one? Because even with like that Resident Evil series you're talking about before,
Mhm.
though that felt like the teenage ones felt very cheap to me. And
Yeah,
if it's
they're
high
made for Sci-Fi
quality,
Channel.
I'll still enjoy it as an adult because the story is
Yeah.
good either way. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think another issue that they struggle with as producers is how we consume content nowadays. Our generation we could sit our ass in a seat and watch a 3-hour movie and love every minute of it.
Yeah,
If you put all the Lord of the Rings back to back, we'll make a day of it.
yeah.
The younger generation, and maybe we're being influenced by it as well too with TikTok and stuff, but they have such a short attention span. They don't care about quality as much as they want quantity. They want some
Mhm.
entertainment they could gossip about and then move on to the next thing. So half-hour episode is the most you can get them to watch. So it's kind of hard when you're trying to make a full-length movie or a high budget show that they're not really going to focus on. They just want to see the next one.
Dude, that's like for us, we make hour-long videos, we make 15-minute videos, and then it's like, okay, well, we're making those 15-minute videos into 1-minute videos now. Those do pretty well. And then I just posted a 15-second video, and it outdid
Mhm.
everything so far. And I'm like, 15 seconds? I can't keep making 15-second videos, guys. You can't get any good content out of that. I'm sorry. At a certain point,
Right.
it's like I gotta put my foot down. Like, what am I gonna say in 15
Yeah.
seconds?
Just gonna pop up. Hi, it's Frank. Watch Geek Freaks. Bye. Like,
Well, yeah, or like if I'm doing the headlines that way, I'm like, James Gunn, new Spider-Man. Bye. Oh boy, that's Spider-Man, by the way. That's not it. It would be Batman. But yeah,
New Batman.
don't tweet at me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to keep up with all these kids and their younger. I feel so old saying that.
That's an old man. Oh my
in their
god.
younger content. All right,
Yeah.
we have two new trailers. We got a Shazam trailer. What do you think about Shazam? Are you excited for this project at all?
I didn't watch the first Shazam, and I didn't think I would be interested
You
at
didn't watch the
all
first
because
one. Oh, you should watch it. I think you'd like it.
it looks so lame to me.
Mhm.
But it's a whole different type of superhero movie I think that I'm used to. Because it's obviously like we were just talking about, it's aimed for a younger audience. But then when I just watched the second trailer, I'm like, man, this actually looks really good. Like I'm kind of excited about it. There's so many different elements to it. It's like I'm hoping this is, and maybe it's a little early for this, but I'm hoping this is DC doing a little bit of a pivot that they do still want to aim for a young audience, but they want to, right? This is Shazam's DC, isn't it?
It's DC, but just you're right. This is too early for it to be affected by any of the pivots they're doing. This is from
Okay.
beforehand, and it feels much like the first one, really.
But they have so many different elements in this
Yeah.
world that it's like they did a lot of world building in these movies. So as if they want to make this kind of a central hub that they can involve other characters in, or explore other characters through. So I think it looks good. But yeah, obviously it's targeting uh,
It's
a
the it's a
younger
family
audience
it's a
in that
family
aspect.
flick too. Like it kind of has Guardians vibe if you're looking for the Marvel equivalent. And the fact that
Yeah,
it's like it's jokes first. It knows it's jokes first too. It's not trying to hide that. Or like a
yeah,
Thor vibe, newer Thor, I guess. Um but you go into it knowing that okay, they're going to be joking around the entire time. It doesn't take itself too seriously and yet it's still honest, which is something that we don't
mhm,
see. Like if you think of Deadpool, it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it also is constantly meta. It doesn't do that. It's just
yeah. I don't
having
like
fun
that.
with it. Yeah.
And I really like all the Guardians movies, but I didn't like Thor going funny and comical, because to me in the
Because of the
first Thor
chick.
movie it
Yeah.
was like, real serious, and he's this god of thunder, and he started as kind of a high school college brat, and then he
Yeah.
earned this respect of a god, and through this whole arc in that first movie kind of built him up to be more than he was. And then you go into the second and third movie and it's just like, oh yeah, he's just kind of the slapstick dad bod, kind of all just jokes. I'm like, that's what Guardians of the Galaxy was for, was the jokes. This guy's supposed to be the god of thunder. What happened to
Yeah.
that? So
In
that was
defense of
disappointing.
Thor, as a comic book fan of Thor, his entire existence has always been trying to refine his worthiness of his new role. So it's either to
Mhm.
wield Mjolnir or it's to be King of Asgard or to be, a cosmic avenger of some sort. He's always
Mhm.
like going down and then finding his way back up. Like, oh, I have to be responsible again, collapsing again. That's like his entire shtick.
Uh,
So, in defense of that, it's like, yeah, he's a goofball now, but he's eventually gonna have to take over as leader again or something like that, and have to mature up again. We'll see that up and go.
I
E-
get
Even the goofiest movies, those things make a ton of cash, so they're not
you.
giving
Yeah.
up on those. Um,
That D&D movie was surprisingly good looking too.
I cannot
I
wait for this one.
Yeah, they had a lot of good actors in it, and it like explores all these different elements of fantasy, which I haven't played D&D, but I've watched your guys' games a couple times, and it looks like it. I don't know. It looks like it's going to be a good movie for D&D players, because there'll be different spells and stuff like that that they can relate to. But moreover, I guess it looks like it will be so expandable that they can make more movies after this that are
Yeah,
completely disconnected, because every
yeah,
playthrough, every time you play D&D, it's a different adventure. So you
mhm.
could have a whole different cast. All it has to be is in the same world where some of the same rules apply, and different spells, different witches, different dragons, different whatever you want. But if they build the world well, and look like they put a lot of
And
money
set up
into
their
it.
own rules properly, yeah, so that you can play with those rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think it looks really good. I'm looking forward to that one. I think I am going to go to theaters to see that one.
But
Maybe
I'll
not
go I'll
Shazam.
go with you on that because I'm looking forward to who cared about this, right? At first, I'm like, it's a D&D movie. They've tried
I
this
thought it was
before and
going
they
to be
failed.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a made for TV kinda movie, Sci-Fi Channel or something like that, but this actually looks like it's gonna be good.
It's way more Jumanji feel to me. I think it's gonna be like the newer
Yeah.
Jumanjis. Um, yeah, whenever they got like a rock music to a fantasy movie, I'm there. Reminds me of
Yeah.
Knight's Tale. But yeah, Chris Pine, good to see him working again.
Yeah.
And I look forward. But you're right in the fact that like this is tailor made for being able to make more movies in the same franchise without them touching. And even better yet, when you're playing D&D, at one point you're fighting to save the entire world, but at another point you're just clearing out a cave, and it becomes this big adventure within the small little cave that nobody will ever find out about.
Mhm.
And so they can make smaller projects in there, and sometimes that's what we really need, and they can go with the bigger ones. But I am also looking forward to this quite a bit. It looks like it's going to be a blast. All right, our big thing here, we got Movie Pass is back, and it's going nationwide starting this week. Uh, for those who don't remember, Jonathan, can you give us a quick rundown on what Movie Pass is?
Okay, it's been a while. So I think this started like right before the pandemic, right? It might have been like
It was
a
before
year.
it was our first year of podcasting, so it was 2018 because it was a big deal for us back
Oh,
then.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's right. So yeah, in 2018, it's like a credit card you get online, or you apply for through the website or whatever. It's not really a credit card though, but you sign up and you pay a monthly subscription to be able to go to the movie theaters, see whatever movie you want, and then you have to like check into the movie you want to watch, and they load that much money onto your movie pass card. And so when you go to theaters, that card is loaded to pay for that movie.
Yeah.
And so it was a little bit clunky, and there was a lot of limitations, and they didn't really have it all worked out yet. So it felt more like a trial run, really. And then I think it was, I don't know, sometime during the pandemic that it kind of stopped. But yeah, because movie theaters were all closed for a little while.
Well, no, it was even before then. What happened was basically, they were paying full price for a movie ticket, and people would just like go in for the air conditioning, like they didn't care.
Uh,
Every time you
yeah,
walked through the door, they paid the $12 whatever for a movie ticket, and they finally collapsed. It was one of those things where when we were using it, we were like, "This is too good to be true, so let's quickly use it as much as possible." And I remember
yeah.
watching there's one week where I watched a movie 3 times in a week, different
I think
movies.
I only used it 3 times.
Oh, I milked it like that. Because at the same time this came out, so did that Delta Shores. Remember the new theaters that's around over here? So I was like, "Yeah, let's check out this new theater and just like whatever, watch everything." Um,
Yeah.
so MoviePass is back after some major reworking. One of the co-founders came back and like, we have to make this thing sustainable and a little bit more accessible for all the theaters. So they are offering those cards again, but the main thing is the app. And there's going to be 4 different tiers so far: 10, 20, 30, and $40 tiers. The $10 tier is definitely the one I'm going to go with. This new system is based off of like credits. And so, like, the just quickest way to say this is you could go watch a 3D awesome whatever with the motion seats once per month, or this is for the $10 tier, or you can go watch 3 movies in the middle of the week on a Tuesday. It's a movie that's been out for a week, whatever, 3 times a month, which to me is perfect because that's, I think that's really good. And something new is you could bring a friend with you. They could sit with you and they buy like a cheaper version of the ticket as well. So there's like a buddy ticket now, because before that wasn't a possibility and it really sucked. But
Mm.
yeah, it's all done through the app, and you just like do everything that way. And you can even watch ads in the app to earn more credits to go to more movies, which is a freebie right
I
there.
really like that. Yeah, you sit there like you want to go see a movie. You've already used 3 of them that month or whatever. You all right? I got to watch 6 ads today, but I'll get a credit to watch another movie. Cool. I'll watch 6 ads. I'll watch 10 ads, whatever. And it's not hard to do. So that's pretty cool.
With these changes, do you think you'll try this out?
I think so. As much as like I don't go to the movies much now because I feel guilty to leave my wife watching the baby all day. But yeah, if we plan it out, there'll be times that I could just go and watch a movie myself. And I feel bad to go see a movie that she wants to see and not bring
Right.
her along. But yeah, childcare is a issue. But
So
yeah, I think I would do the $10 one for sure.
next month I'm gonna try this out as well, and I think it'd be cool if like we could plan out some random weekend. You, me, and whoever else wants to go. We'll watch whatever movie. There's gonna be a bunch of movies coming out, and
Yeah.
we'll try the movie pass out, and then maybe we'll record afterwards, talking about the
Mhm.
movie, of course, but also using the movie pass, and we'll review it for everybody.
Yeah.
Um, I'm hoping it works. This beta, they're in beta right now, and it's gonna end in the summer. But it sounds like, from what I'm understanding, it's gonna pick up with the live version right afterwards. Um,
Mm.
there's so many good movies this year. I need a movie
Yeah.
pass right now.
Right.
It's gonna
Like
be hard.
even if you can only watch 2 a month, but you're watching them on Tuesdays or something like that, like that's cool. Of the
Yeah.
big releases.
For
Um,
$10 a month, $10 is one movie ticket, really. So for
yeah.
$10 a
If
month and
that.
you're watching one movie, you're already good right there.
That's
So
like usually like $14 or $15 nowadays.
it
Well,
really is.
because I go on the weekends. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you guys, I'm not gonna, if you can, middle of the week, midday, when it's like you alone in the theater and like you and like 2 other people or whatever. Oh, that's the
Mhm.
best. That is so good. You like
Senior
literally just
special.
bring up, yeah, the senior specials on Tuesdays, by the way, if you guys live near me. All right, next up, Disneyland is closing Splash Mountain. It's gonna be changing over to a Princess and the Frog ride. The main thing I wanna talk about, dude, is people are selling bottles of water from the water in the ride.
I don't
Ki
understand that. Why?
so think about it, you're like, well, because people are like, "Oh, I love Splash Mountain, I want the water from the ride." And people were like, the last few days, just taking bottles of water, sinking them into the water of the ride, filling them up, and then filling backpacks with them.
But it's not like saying I like, Long Beach, so I want some of the sand from Long Beach because that sand is the land of that. The water goes through a filter system and is, recirculated and
It's
replaced on a
LA
regular basis.
it's LA
Tap
tap
water.
water.
Yeah, I don't. It's not the same water that's been there for 50 years.
Yeah,
That's kind of silly. I mean, you can just go to Costco, buy a case of water, and start shipping it to people. Take off the label,
I mean,
Sharpie
yeah,
on it, say Splash Mountain.
seriously, especially like Dasani is from Sacramento or not Sacramento, from California. So I mean, it's pretty
Mhm.
close to the same water. You guys could just go get some Dasani water.
Yeah, just crack
Um,
the seal so people realize you opened it.
yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they're selling so well. They're selling fast, and it's just nuts.
Is
Not
it just people that are selling it, or is there some kind of company doing that?
No, it's just people that were like the last few. They
Mm.
all had the idea of like, hey, let's go bottle up as much water as possible from Splash Mountain. So you
Okay, yeah,
pay for a ticket to walk in, to
mhm.
and a big backpack and a bunch of empty water bottles, and you're just boom, 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 filling it up on the ride as much as you can.
I'm surprised the people at the park don't stop that, but also there's gotta be I mean, it makes sense it's not a company doing it 'cause imagine the liability, somebody drinks this water that they got from Splash Mountain, like, "Oh, I'm gonna remember what it felt like when I was there," or something, and then they get sick because it's a bottle of water that, somebody filled up from a
Yeah,
ride.
kids are peeing in it and stuff. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it washes over the machines and stuff, yeah, it's I don't know, that's weird. But so one thing I don't understand, I understand the reason for changing it, and I'm totally fine with that, I I think that's a good reason to change it,
Hmm.
but to choose the Princess and the Frog doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, maybe in a social perspective that it's going from, like a racist to a racially inclusive story, but the fact that there's no waterfalls in the bayou, I
Well,
don't
I think they're
understand.
changing the idea of it being a waterfall. Like, well, there's no
Okay.
waterfall in Song of the South, which Splash Mountain is based off of.
I mean, in the
I don't think
background,
there
that was
was.
more like
I haven't
a
watched it in the
mountain
longest.
landscape and stuff.
Well, yeah, it was in the wilderness, but I think the idea is like, I think it's gonna look a little bit more like the beginning of Pirates of the Caribbean. Like in the Pirates of the Caribbean, when you're first going out, you're actually in like the bayou. There's literally that
Mm,
restaurant, the Bayou Restaurant. So I think they're just gonna
yeah,
convert the entire thing to you're now on a log ride through the bayou instead of through this southern,
okay.
environment.
You know what makes 1,000,000% more sense to me, though it's also still a very controversial movie and whatnot?
Mhm.
Convert this to be Pocahontas. She literally
Yeah, it
jumps
makes
off of a
way more
waterfall.
sense. Yeah, she
She has
literally
a
goes off the
canoe
waterfall.
that is like your log. Like it's just so
You could
it
like
fits.
make it where you're like going through leaves at one point too. Like that's a big part
Yeah,
of that song.
and it could play out, like the other ones. It'll play out the story. So as you're going through there, you see the ships coming in of the white settlers arriving, and then
Yeah.
the gunfire between them and the Indians and stuff like that.
That movie's got
Like,
some I know one of the songs is like troubling, but it's got some
yeah.
bangers. It's some good music in that
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. It's definitely a movie made at a certain time
Of
when
course.
our sensitivities weren't dialed into where they are now, but I don't think there was anything negative intended at the time. It was
Of
telling our
course.
very sad history.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. To me, that's such a better fit for that ride. But I don't know. Is there any other?
The problem with
Disney-
that is your wife would force you to go to Disneyland the second that ride opened.
She would get bottled water from that one.
Well,
I
that's
could
another thing
see.
too, by the way. When the Princess Frog one opens up, it's the same water. Like, why are you guys bottling it up? Like, that makes no
Yeah,
sense. Oh man.
that's crazy. Is there another Disney movie you think would be good to convert that ride to?
Well, you
That's
kind of
Splash
took it
Mountain.
away with Pocahontas. I think that's very good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I really can't think of anything else. Maybe. Oh, you know what? I wouldn't mind. Robin Hood, the old Robin Hood movie.
Oh,
But
there
that's
you go.
super
Okay.
dated too. So it's hard.
Yeah.
But that's such a good movie.
Yeah.
You had that whistling. The whistling rooster in the beginning is such a G that I love
Yeah.
that.
That probably doesn't sound good on mic.
um,
Um,
but I think that'd be good. And so let me ask you this: you know,
mhm.
Disneyland is legendary to its childhood and da 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 da. I love it very much. Is there any part from any ride you would want to keep as like a token?
Like a keepsake.
Yeah.
That's hard. Maybe one of the characters from Pirates of the Caribbean because
Hmm.
that's I think one of my favorite rides for sure. And it's just the animatronic robots and stuff are fun. But I think that would be it. Is a character from any one of the rides. I haven't seen some of the new Star Wars stuff, so I'm stoked to go. We're gonna
Same.
go. at the end of the end of next month, end of February.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna go to Disneyland again, so I'm excited to check all that out. But yeah, I think I would save certain characters. I don't know which ones, but that'd be because what else can you do with other stuff, anyways? Let's say
Yeah.
a wagon from Indiana Jones or something like that. But maybe you gotta ride it in your backyard. A character you could set up in your house as a prop or something.
It just like waves at
But
you as you wake up in the morning, make coffee.
yeah, wire them in and actually have them
Yeah.
automated.
I like a lot of
Three
the
people.
wood signs in Pirates of the Caribbean. I wouldn't mind a couple of those wood signs. Those are pretty dope. And
Yeah,
and then I would really like my favorite ride is Thunder Mountain. And I would like there's a goat that has dynamite in his mouth that's about to blow up. And so I'd want
yeah,
to set that LED light that they use like through my house and all of a sudden like it just goes to the goat. That'd be fun. Cool, I'm thinking.
nice. Yeah,
But yeah, let us know, guys, if there's something from any ride in particular you guys would love. Jonathan, when you go, are you going to California Adventures as well?
yes, we'll do probably half day California
Okay.
Adventures and then 1.5 in Disneyland.
You want to do a review for Avengers Park, the Avengers Campus? We haven't done one for that yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll take some
Okay.
pictures while I'm there too.
Yeah. That'd be
That'd be
fun. I
cool.
can't wait to hear what you think. It
Yeah.
sounds like the parents might be joining you. I don't know. I think your wife
I
might
hope
be.
so. Gotta convince them.
Okay.
Next
Oh,
check.
you heard it, guys. He's saying he hopes to too.
That's great.
All right. Moving on to, great. This is a great transition from Disneyland to Justin Roiland. Justin Roiland is leaving Adult Swim and, of course, Rick and Morty along with it. He's been accused of, what is it, domestic violence. And so they parted ways. They're still doing, his lawyers say he's innocent, and they're still doing all kinds of evidence and all that stuff like that, lawyer stuff. But, anyways, what do you,
Investigation.
yeah. What do you think about Rick and Morty? They said they're going to recast the two voices because he does both Rick and Morty.
Really?
Yeah, he's a producer of it and stuff like that. What do you think they're gonna do? Like, is that gonna be successful? Because they are pretty meta on that show, should they acknowledge the fact that their voices have changed suddenly?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's an explosion. They inhale some gas or something like that, and all of a sudden their voices sound different.
Yeah.
And then they have to explain like, well, it's not like we just got fired and now we're hiring a new person or something like that. Some people's voices change, and that's just how life goes or whatever.
You
Like,
nailed it.
you
That's
know,
exactly what they just do.
that's how they explain everything. But yeah, I mean, obviously, it's disappointing that he may or may not be uh, abusive and stuff like that. And we've talked about this before, like because if somebody does something bad, does that mean their content is bad? And I know it's a slippery slope. It depends on. I think most people would agree. It depends on what the offense was,
Yeah.
how severe it was, because we don't want to, as consumers, I think majority of us don't want to be paying for something that's going to go into the pocket of a bad person. We don't want to give money to somebody who's doing bad thing, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to encourage it. But also, the bad thing that they've done or are doing, they will have a separate penalty for that. Like if they create content and it's really good and everybody likes it and they make a lot of money on it, okay. But then if you do something bad, yeah, you go to jail or you're going to get fined thousands and thousands of dollars, and that money will get taken away from you. So I'm really on the fence either way about. I think it kind of just depends on the offense, but whether or not we should continue to support or enjoy the content of somebody who
Yeah.
was later found to do something bad. And we got to remember, people change, so it could have been a different season in their life when they were making great, art or content.
Mhm.
They were one person, and then something changed with them that changed them into this person doing something wrong. So yeah, it's a slippery slope. I'm not
We
sure which side to
touched
be.
on this last week as well with Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling. And it's hard to enjoy the content created when now the person who created it, is this person.
Yeah,
Um, so every time you watch anything, there is a royalty that goes. I mean, there's pennies, but it goes to the creator. So you are actually physically supporting them. But Kyle, I think, was the one that came up with a really good point. Is once they create the world, it's flat, and then it's up to us to build it up. So the
mhm,
fandom of Rick and Morty is not Justin Roiland's creation. That's
yeah,
us embracing it and loving it and talking about it and making it bigger and bigger and bigger.
yeah,
And so that's and same thing with Harry Potter. Like think about Harry Potter if it just came out as a book and like nobody cared about it. But then all of a sudden now you have cosplay and blah 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 blah. So watching Harry Potter isn't that I'm watching someone's creation. I'm watching a part of a fandom, I think is the best way to look at it. Like it's the cornerstone to a fandom and it's not
yeah,
representing the person who made it type of thing. It's just like with this. I'm
yeah.
not gonna watch Rick and Morty and think like that's Justin Roiland and it's Justin Roiland's opinions and thoughts. It's like, no, he started something and we made it something bigger.
Like when you see cosplay at a convention,
Mhm.
you see a Rick and Morty cosplay, that's not what the creator created. That's what the fan created
Yeah.
with off of that original creation. So it's yeah, very much taken by the people. And on the flip side, we don't want that royalty to continue to go to the creator, right? But I think that's on the side of the studio when somebody does something that negatively impacts them, makes them look bad for employing a you know abuser
Abuser.
or something like that, that they would sue that creator and to be able to break that connection of okay, now what you created is now ours and you're not going to get anything for it because you're damning our name, you're making
Yeah.
us look bad in the process. So I think that would be good on both ends, on for us as consumers and for the production company, to kind of and to separate the content creator. But also we got to remember, and I hate to play the side of it, but these are still just accusations. This isn't hasn't been confirmed yet, and that could really wreck someone's entire career in life
Yeah.
when we elaborate so much on something that's been accused and not yet confirmed. We've seen actors before who are accused of something, and once it kind of comes down to the nitty gritty, when people aren't listening as much, we hear that oh no, those were false
Yeah.
accusations, and that was actually the other way around. And it's like, oh well, that guy
There's
already got dragged to the mud. So
You're so right. There's a innocent until proven guilty, but I think there's also a point of like, okay, stop and separate first, just to make sure that that doesn't continue.
yeah.
Then prove innocence, then go from there, or prove guilt, and then you're out. Um,
And there probably is, but there needs to definitely be if there's not some kind of recourse for false accusations.
yeah,
If you
yeah.
ruin someone's reputation by falsely accusing them of something and stop them from getting work for 6 months or 5 years or whatever, that should be uh, an issue for the person that's
Especially
falsely
once
accusing.
proven. I think slander stuff like that falls in that. Again, we're not a
Yeah,
couple
yeah, that's
lawyers. I'm sure, but I'm sure there's something out there.
right.
I'm not a mathematician. I don't know
We
how the
can,
economy works, and I'm not a lawyer, guys.
yeah, right.
But yeah, so keep that in mind, guys. It'll be interesting going forward. We'll see how that all shakes out. I forgot to look up the February watch list stuff, John. Did you happen to look up any of that?
I did. I didn't see much good stuff. I was looking around. There's a few good things that come out in March, but in February we do have Star Trek Picard season 3 comes out. So that's the only one I even saw was noteworthy, let alone it's the best one on the list.
Dude, I cannot wait. So I'm watching season 2 right now for the first time,
Mhm.
mind you. I cannot
Really?
wait for season 3. Just watching season 2 already. Did you watch season 2 yet?
Yeah, I think I might rewatch it though, just to get ready for it.
I mean, right away they start busting out like, what was it? They start busting out the Borg first
Yeah.
episode, and it's like the
Oh yeah.
Borg Queen's there, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, it's 7 of 9 talking to the Borg Queen. That's all, and Locutus, of course, with Picard. But man, I'm just so excited about it right off the bat.
Yeah. It gets a little extreme. Some stuff that kind of like
Does it?
are a
Okay.
little campy where it's a little too much, a little further out of the box than I'd like. But Star Trek does do that in everything else too. This just seems more serious and dramatic, like a movie, more than the regular shows.
Hmm.
Um, so you'd think like they would kind of make cleaner edges to the story. But I like it. It's really good. And the ending, it's like, oh man, that seems like too much to handle, but it's a really cool way they set up the ending. So interested to see where they go with season 3.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that on Trek Freaks. We're not necessarily every episode, but give broad reviews on Trek Freaks. I'm sure you and Kevin and Squeaks is going to be tagging in here and there too, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
Um, as for video games, the big things for February 10th, we have Hogwarts Legacy. And next week on this podcast, we're going to be taking the Harry Potter quiz and trying to figure out what house people should join. Because I tweeted about this. I put more thought into what house I'm going to join in a video game than I have my taxes this year.
Oh man.
I'm watching videos. I'm like, okay, so I'm in between Hufflepuff and it's like, hey Frank, maybe you should like make sure you got all your W2s in order or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about any of them, so the quiz would be the only thing that I would have to go on.
Meanwhile, we got Squeaks over there that already has like a full Slytherin
Tattoo.
outfit.
Yeah, a full back tattoo of the Slytherin.
Yeah.
Moves when he moves.
Exactly. He's already talking to snakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
February 21st, we have Atomic Heart. This thing looks so freaking cool. It's got a very kind of the look wise is BioShock, and the
Mhm.
gameplay looks even more hardcore than that. But Atomic Heart looks very, very good. Looking forward
Do
to
you know
that.
what systems that's gonna be on?
That is going to be on. I have it right here. The PlayStation, the Xbox, all of those, and on PC, so you can pick it up on PC as well. I bet that'll play good on the Steam Deck, by the way.
Yeah, I played BioShock. So we talked a while back about what games I was playing on Steam, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Stray was probably the best game." That's a lie. I forgot that I played BioShock 2 on my Steam Deck as well. And though it took a second to get the controls set up the way I wanted them to, because it wasn't optimized yet, but still, once I got that set up, it played really well. It was a great game. It was a hard game. I had to put it down to easy mode eventually because I'm like, I just keep dying. But it was
No
a lot of
shame
fun.
in easy mode, man. I've gotten to where I'm totally embracing easy mode at this point.
Yeah,
Um,
especially with as many games as you play to review, you have to get through them faster than normal.
well, yeah, and it was all because of like God of War. I was playing God of War, and I was like, the story's so good, but this fucking puzzle is stopping me from getting more story, and I paid money for this thing. And so at that point, I was doing it on stream too, and even Kevin was like, "It's okay, you can do it." Like, thank you for the permission. I don't feel like a loser as much anymore, and went ahead and moved it down.
Nice.
Here we go. I finally pulled up my my list of the stuff. We have Knock at the Cabin, which is going to be Dave Bautista. It's a movie coming up. It's like a horror movie called Knock at the Cabin. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantum Mania is coming out on February 17th.
Oh yeah, I only looked at TV shows, not movies.
Yeah, that's right. I got the movie list here. So we got to watch that day one. I
Yeah,
think I'm
I
in the
need.
mood to do it day one again.
Me too. And only thing is, I need to watch the other two. I watched most or like half of the first Ant Man, but
Okay,
I didn't see all of it. I didn't see the second one because it just seemed so. I don't know, not interesting to
kiddish.
me.
To me,
Yeah,
they're the most like younger kids going with their dad's version of Marvel.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it has some key plot elements that we got to get into the story, right?
This is going to be basically launching off the next phase. It literally is, but it's also bringing in Kang the Conqueror, who is a
Yeah.
Thanos level villain. Have you watched Loki yet, Jonathan?
Yes. Oh, I loved Loki, and I saw the whole end with Kang and how he
Okay,
ties in. Do you think
Jonathan
Disney
Majors is
and
such a cool
Marvel?
actor.
Yeah. Do you think Marvel decided to pivot this big next launch of the next phase on Ant-Man specifically to get more people to watch it because it was kind of an outlier in their series of Marvel movies?
Well, I know because it's weird that Ant Man and the Quantum Mania, like the Quantum Verse, is where Kang is at. I'm not a big fan of that,
Yeah. That would be a
necessarily.
Loki movie or something like that that would tie him in.
Yeah, and it feels weird that like Ant Man, like let's be honest, guys, he's like a C level hero,
Mhm.
right above Hawkman in abilities. And for him to be the one that's going to be fighting Kang the Conqueror, who could take out Thor and stuff, it feels a little weird. But I think that I think he's going to what I think is going to happen is I think somehow Ant-Man's going to accidentally help him basically, and then he's going to start mowing over some heroes
Mhm.
because we know that one of the upcoming Avengers movies, which are very excited for this, is going to be the Empire Strikes Back of the franchise, where the Avengers lose and Kang takes over Earth.
That's exciting.
Yeah. And
Another
then the
another
movie
Thanos
after
movie.
that will hopefully be them, either taking back Earth or maybe they'll do it like at the last minute they could like survive. But yeah, it's King's invasion and him conquering Earth. So that'd be really cool.
Mm.
According to the comic book, who knows what the movie will do. And then lastly is Cocaine Bear coming out February 24th. Have you seen this one? The trailer for this?
No. Oh.
We watched it live because we were doing this group YouTube thing in Discord. We watched it together, and it is the most wackadoo movie. I know the true life story. I didn't, the movie though is way off. Where basically this guy's ditching cocaine out of his plane. A bear comes along, sniffs and eats the cocaine whole, and in the main story, he dies of a heart attack quickly after. But in the movie, he's a
A bear on
cocaine
a ranch.
filled bear just rampaging through a local town, and people are trying to kill this
No.
bear, and it looks like a lot of
Uh,
fun. You got to watch the trailer after this recording, John.
so it's like Sharknado with the bear, right? That
Not
kind of.
as ridiculous as Sharknado. It's
Yeah.
just gonna be.
Is that?
It's more like Lake Placid. Remember Lake Placid?
Oh, okay. That was actually a really good movie.
Yeah, that's it's a
Okay.
lot closer to that. And then as for the video game thing right here, so we have Hogwarts Legacy, and then we also have Destiny 2's got Lightfall, a new expansion coming out on February 28th. And yeah, TV show's the main thing. You already called that, so we're pretty good on everything like that. So that's what you guys need to be paying attention to in February. We had the Xbox Developer Showcase. It wasn't a lot of major games. Did you have a chance to look at this? I know Hi-Fi
Uh,
Rush is out and Kyle's watching it or playing it, and he'll give us a quick review for that. We have Minecraft Legends. Anything else you saw?
no, nothing I'm stoked about.
I liked the way they did it because they had the developers actually introduce their games, but it wasn't like any games I really was super excited for. Like the Elder Scrolls is like, okay, yeah, but it's just a new expansion, stuff like that. So hopefully they continue doing these with more games that I like. you know.
Yeah. I kind
Well,
of don't like that these different companies are trying to do their releases independently. It's not as fun. It's not as exciting as when we have one big convention, one big show where all the new
yeah.
games are released at once. Even the projects that are coming up at the end of the year or whatever, it puts so much more buzz and excitement behind it, and more competition, I think, between them. But when they're doing their own little showcases, like, nobody or not as many people even see it. I don't
The
know.
nice thing with this one, maybe this because Nintendo does these as well, and when Nintendo does it, like every game they reveal is going to be out within the next 3 months. So for like
Mm,
even these, like we got one in April, one in May, one in June. So they're all coming out the first half of this year. So that's pretty cool.
yeah.
But maybe they'll use E3, which we'll be going to. Um, maybe they'll be using E3 to like announce games that are in development for the next couple years, kind of thing.
So maybe I must be completely wrong about this, but I thought E3 was canceled indefinitely
No, it
after
is
COVID.
back in full now.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
I think
they
didn't
said
they
they're
try
actually.
had like a web-based thing, and that didn't
Yeah.
really pan out. So they're like, yeah, I don't know if we're gonna do it again. But okay, so we got a full blown E3 coming this year.
Oh yeah, we do. Oh yeah.
Okay,
And we are
in
making the
November, right?
drive. I have
Yeah,
to double check. No, BlizzCon's November. I have to double check. It should be July, June, July, somewhere around there. Which you might be in another country actually during that.
if I'm still in town,
Yeah, we'll
then
figure it out. That should be fun. All right, Jonathan, what are your recommendations for the week?
I don't have a lot. Obviously, when Picard season 3 comes out, check that out. If you haven't seen 1 and 2, watch them right now so you're ready for it. But the new show that I've been watching just recently that was kind of interesting is Poker Face. Have you seen that? I think
I
it's on
haven't seen that
Peacock.
yet. No, yeah.
It's got the redhead girl from Orange Is the New Black. I can't remember her name. She's been in a few other shows recently too. The Russian Doll,
Hmm.
stuff like that. She's pretty good. But it's where she can read if somebody's lying or not. Just like she just has
Oh,
this
cool.
God given talent to where she could tell someone's lying. And she works in a casino, and she used to play cards and make a lot of money, but she got caught. So the boss just like, hey, you know what? You can either work for pretty much you could either work for me and stay quiet, or I'm gonna have you executed. Is what it sounded like. So she's doing that, and then the son takes over for the casino business. And so he's like, "Wait, you got this golden goose over here, and you're not using her? Like, let's put her in some games and make some money."
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like this weird dynamic, but it's pretty cool. Like,
Hmm.
because she can even tell when he's lying to her, so
Is
he
this a
doesn't
series
really
or a movie? I didn't
a
catch that.
series, a
Series.
series, yeah,
Poker Face. Okay.
yeah,
So
it's
check
pretty
that out.
cool.
Okay. And it was on Peacock, you said?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, keep an eye out for that. My suggestion for you guys is Forspoken. It's a brand new video game that came out for the PS5 and PS4. The reason I'm suggesting this is because it's being review bombed. Like it's got really bad reviews. But what's nice is PlayStation put up I think it's 2 hour. I already played it beta, where you're able to play the game and really get a good feel for the combat and stuff like that. Now, I will say when I played the beta, I realized I don't want to buy this game for 70 bucks or 60 bucks, whatever. But that's great. Like that's what betas are for. That's what demos are for. It's not a beta. I'm sorry, it's a demo. That's what demos are for. But instead of going out and watching these reviews or whatever, pick up the game. It's totally free to play the demo and try it out, and then make the opinion on your own. And I want my personal hope is for more and more people to download the demo and for PlayStation to see that this is a good move and make that a regular standard again. Because remember, Xbox used to do that for all games. They used to always come
Mhm.
out with the demo first, and then you play that and you know if you want to buy it or not. And I think that's way better than like even us reviewing something or you guys watching gameplay trailer is getting your
Yeah.
hands on it, you know?
And if you're gonna review it, obviously, if you have a good opinion, obviously, please review it with a good opinion. But if you didn't like the game and you're gonna review it anyways, please suggest the changes that you want to see. Don't just say,
Oh,
"Oh,
good
this is
call.
garbage. These guys should be deleted. This is
Yeah.
stupid." Blah blah blah. No, suggest what they could change. And a lot of times we see developers decide to make last minute changes that will please the consumer. So you're just helping them out make the game that you want to play. So do that instead of just being negative like some people are.
One of the I keep suggesting it. One of the segments we do on Challenge Accepted is shitty reviews, where we read like the worst reviews for the thing that we're talking about, and then we kind of talk shit about the reviewer. And so for Hook, I thought that movie was gonna be perfect. I was like, because like when we did Seinfeld, it was hard to find bad reviews for it, and so we just didn't do the segment. So for this, it was like, oh no, this movie's like at 29% on Rotten Tomato. Like people, there's a
Wow.
lot of people who do not like Hook. And when you read the reviews, it's just like you don't know what you're talking about. You're just being a jerk and being like, what? Some people,
Yeah.
there was one review that we talked about where the person's like, terrible acting, terrible actors. It's got Robin Williams and Dustin Hoffman. You're a liar. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking
Wrong.
about?
You're in the wrong field. You don't know anything about movies and TV.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a fun bit though, because we reviewed we talk about the bad review and it kind of happens spontaneously, but then we're like, so we'll read the Robin Williams must have hit this kid in a drive by, and like, why did this guy give a bad review? Thomas would be like, oh, Steven Spielberg probably shot this guy's dog. So, like, why did they give such a bad review?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's some of the worst reviews, and it's like it doesn't make any sense. So with the demo, get your hands on it, give it a real shot, and then go from there. Don't listen to the reviews for this yet. That being said, I myself won't be playing it right away. I will play it at some point. The combat's a lot of fun. That is it for us today, guys. We will see you guys next week. We have a new interview coming out on Friday, and of course, we have all of our podcasts releasing stuff over the next month. Sorry, should be good. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.